Oh, 700. So it's actually 1,900 hours.
Great, thank you everybody for coming tonight. I'd like to call the Common Council meeting to order. If you could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Michelle, if you could help us with roll call, please.
Yes, Jeff Crickon,
I'm here.
Jim Barron,
Here.
Jackie Valdi,
Here.
Wayne Dean,
Here.
Matt Grimmer,
Here.
Kevin Maples,
Here.
Tim Eicher,
Here.
Kent Atwell,
Present.
Tom Hafner,
Here.
Jim Hammis. Here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We have a special order of business, the swearing in of District 1 Alderperson-elect Doug Saloga, term to begin April 16th, 2019, up for re-election April 2021. Presenting myself. Okay. Try to get you the proper backdrop here, so. All right. You can, if you just read after me.
Okay.
I, Doug Saloga,
I, Doug Saloga,
having been elected to the City of Delafield Alderman for District 1,
having been elected to the City of Delafield Alderman for District 1,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
and will faithfully and partially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome aboard. Yeah, she likes you to sign right away. Okay. Then we have a second special order of business. A thank you to Jeff Crickham. And this time we have a very nice plaque. So you want to come up, Jeff?
I would love to. Which is my better side, this side.
So it says to Jeff Crickham, in recognition of outstanding contributions to the City of Delafield, District 1 Alderperson, 2003 to 2015, and 2018 to 2019, and service on Lake Country Fire and Rescue Board, Library Board, Plan B Committee, and Police Commission. Thank you very much for your service, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
And I'll give the floor to you if you'd like to make any comments once you get your microphone back on.
Am I on? I think I'm on. I really didn't have anything prepared, but thank you. It's been truly an honor. It really has, and my gosh, 2003, Kelly and I were trying to think of when it was. It's a very long time ago. A lot of things have happened, a lot of things that we can be proud of here in Delafield. The citizens of Delafield are just a special group of people. I enjoy working with them and representing them. And I'm not going away. I'm still going to continue on the Lake Country Fire and Rescue Board. So like a bad penny, I'll still be around. But thank you all.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks. Great, thank you. And tonight, after the meeting, there'll be a little get-together at Revere's, and all are invited. All right, now we're going to go into closed session. Motion to convene into closed session per Wisconsin Statute 19.85 1G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. More specifically, the Heartland Sports Club lawsuit.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say, oh, that's a roll call.
Roll call vote. Jeff Crickon.
Aye.
Jen Barron.
Aye.
Jackie Valdi.
Aye.
Wayne Dean.
Aye.
Matt Grimmer.
Aye.
Kevin Maples.
Aye.
Tim Eicher.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Doug, we're going to ask you to stay so you can get updated on this, and you can come sit up next to Attorney Hammis or sit wherever you like.
Right here.
Well, there it is.
I'll just hold this here for the night.
Can you pass this down?
How are you? Good. Congratulations. Look at this. You're somebody.
There it is. I told you.
It's passing down.
Make sure they spell Doug right. No.
Here, you get a spare.
There we go. Some
Okay,
assembly required.
Tom, I'll let you take it. Oh,
Yeah, he's still next there.
okay. All right, we're back. Thank you for your patience. Had a good discussion in closed session. So we're going to reorder this just a little bit to try to make sure that, yep, I'm just saying we're going to reorder this so that we can try to get some citizens' comments in here just so you're aware if you're following the agenda. So can I get a motion to
I
go
move move back into open session.
I'll second that.
Okay, I need a roll call vote on that. Jeff Krikon?
Yes.
Jim Barron?
Yes.
Jackie Valdi?
Yes.
Wayne Dean?
Yes.
Matt Grimmer?
Yes.
Kevin Maples?
Yes.
Tim Eicher?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, thanks everyone. Okay. Open session. We're going to do item number 1, City of Delafield citizens' comments pertaining to the consent agenda items. Any citizens' comments on the consent agenda items? Seeing none, those are closed. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. We're going to go to item number 3, City of Delafield citizens' comments pertaining to items not on the consent agenda. Are there any citizens that would like to make comments on any topic? Come on up.
Good evening. Jim Zahorik, 1948 West Shore Drive. I have 2 items that I would like to discuss. The first one has to do with historically, we've had the Lake Country Reporter as our means of communication. When the city had something to put out, whether it was minutes, agendas, or maybe calling for a public hearing, that was the vehicle. That paper was assumed or taken over by Gannett Publishing. And you have the Journal Sentinel currently that has a section called Lake Country Now. And we were able, or the city was able to publish in that, and that came out on Sundays and Wednesdays. Recently, we no longer have the Sunday publication of Lake Country Now. It's only Wednesdays. And I believe the community is being not held in the dark purposely, because I know that this council and for years we've been trying to be as transparent as possible, but unless you're on the internet or don't have internet access, you're really kind of in the dark. And I feel that that should be rectified, that we possibly should look into another venue to get the word of the city out to the taxpayers. The second thing that I wanted to talk about this evening, I gave our addresses 1948 West Shore Drive, but we also, Mary and I, also own 10 acres just north of Lapham Peak State Park. And we were part of the attempt to reduce our deer herd, which we all know is out of control. And we had sharpshooters on our land. They were successful. On our land alone, they took 11 deer. 4 of the deer were does that had twins, and 1 had triplets. So in effect, we took out 22 deer. You say, well, boy, that's a lot. It's a drop in the bucket. And the reason I say that, you have records now as a result of the helicopter sightings that show the deer concentration that we have here. And in speaking to the sharpshooters, they were allowed 50, and they shot 50, and they shot, and they did it even before their term ended. They did it off of 3 sites. And I'm here to tell you that for us and for anybody else that would like to get involved in this program that has land holdings in the city of Delafield, it is extremely worthwhile because we have a serious problem. We know that. With the car accidents, the disease, the CWD is a big problem, and it continues to develop as long as you have this overpopulation. There are people in our community that have suffered Lyme disease resulting from deer ticks. So the problem's there, and we're making inroads, and big compliment to Wayne and the way he worked with that whole group and getting things done. And I, as a property owner, will report to you that I would certainly do this again in the future because of the way they handled it. The deer, these are sharpshooters, these aren't hunters. 1 shot, 1 kill. But what has been shared with me is that they only had 3 sites on which to shoot within our city. They need more, because when they start taking deer, the deer start to back away from those areas. It makes it more difficult to harvest. So, number 1, I would hope that other people in this community come forward, talk to Tom Hafner, that they're willing to put their land up, because when they left, our property was the way it was when they first came in. Everything is cleaned up. There's nothing, there's no residue. And the deer all went to people that had requested it. So it wasn't that the deer were just thrown away. Those harvested deer fed people. And I implore that the council reviews what was taken, and we continue to take this proactive approach, and that we start advertising, possibly in the communicator or other areas, that we need more sites, and to put more, if you want to put it, pressure on the DNR. Their projection was to try to get this in check like in 4 years. Why? If we have a known problem, let's attack it and get this herd down to a manageable size. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have to share.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Any other citizens' comments? Anybody else like to make citizens' comments?
I've got one comment I'd like to read for someone who couldn't be here. This is from Ed McAleer. He just asked me to read this as relative to the Heartland Sportsman's Club. In his words, I have always believed in following the process. 3 courts have ruled in favor of the Heartland Sportsman's Club over the city of Delafield not granting a conditional use permit. I believe the appellate court ruled that the city acted arbitrarily in not granting the permit. The last ruling by a circuit court judge actually ordered the city to grant a CU permit. I would suggest that the mayor, city administrator, and council president sit down with the HSC and work out a process that would allow the club to reopen. The HSC has been compliant for the last 9 years in not shooting on their ranges. If they started shooting now, I think the city would have a difficult time in getting a restraining order to stop them or have any control over the situation.
Sounds good. Seeing no other citizens' comments are now closed. We will jump back up to discussion possible action on the matter of the Heartland Sportsman's Club.
If I may, I'd like to make a motion to authorize Attorney Hammes to file an appeal regarding the court's ruling of the Heartland Sportsman's Club.
Second.
Any discussion?
Does that also include the stay?
I'll apply for this.
Okay.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes. No, Barron. All right, we'll move on to committee reports. Licenses.
Okay, we have a discussion and possible action to approve 3 solicitor canvasser licenses on behalf of True Green Lawn Care for the timeframe of April 10th, 2019 to November 1st, 2019, pending a police background check for Patrick Connell, Candace Kelly, and Ryan Mitchell.
So moved.
I'll second.
So for discussion, so we're basically off, these 3 people will be allowed to go knock on people's doors and solicit sales, more or less.
Right, they do have restrictions based on our ordinance. They can't go, certain times, and they can't go to people's houses that have no soliciting on the door. But they would be going door to door from now until Halloween, basically. We don't have a time frame limit in our ordinance, so they can apply to do it for that many months, 7 months.
Okay.
So.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Abstentions? Passes?
Can we just reinforce to the citizens out there that we do have an ordinance, and if you don't want solicitors, please put it prominently in your door, no soliciting, and if they do continue to knock on the door, you can call the police department.
Okay.
Okay, then the next one we have is a discussion and possible action on the application for a temporary Class B retailer's license for the Lake Country Women's Club for their 44th Annual Lake Country Art Festival held July 13th, 2019.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes.
Thank you.
Planning Commission.
Planning Commission, we have a meeting on, I believe it's the 24th, coming up, and one item of note, it's been in the paper and there's signs around town, there's going to be a preliminary presentation for proposed buildings on the former BP gas station site. I'll keep referring to it as the Hawks Inn site. And so if you're interested in seeing what those plans are and how the Plan Commission asks for questions, that'll be going on a week from Wednesday, and likely that will lead to a public hearing for that same plan, which would then occur the last week of May, where it would be fully vetted by the public. Aside from that, check the agenda.
Thank you. Lake Welfare Committee, Mr. Barron.
No meeting.
Okay. D, Park and Rec, Mr. Grimmer.
2 items. Number 1, the farmland that occupies Oakwood Park has been agreed to rent out to the farmer for another year of 2019, given that there is no discernible plan for that park as at this time. The second item is just a reminder to anyone petitioning to waive the fees associated with the fish hatchery. The bar is not just that you be a not-for-profit, but that you also demonstrate a public good to the city. So it's not enough just to be a good organization that does good things. You have to be an organization that has demonstrable benefit to the city for Park and Rec to waive those fees. Other than that, our next meeting is April 22nd, and the park walk is May 15th.
Great, thank you very much. E, Public Works. Alderman Dean.
Couple different items. First, for our last meeting that we had on April 3rd, we reviewed the specific implementation plan for Delafield, the development of Chick-fil-A. Favorable things are happening, but we still wanted some additional information that we'll be waiting on, so nothing to send to the Common Council. Second thing was we also carefully studied and looked at the Gulf Road traffic improvement plan and the roundabout. Still waiting for some additional information from Mike and our city engineer. Nothing to send to the council, but going back to our agenda, we did approve the road improvement plan and award the contract to Wolf Paving. So we'll be looking for a motion, Jeff, for somebody to approve that.
I would love to make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Great, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes.
No further report.
Thank you. Delahart, Mr. Maples.
No meeting, no report.
Okay. Police Commission, Mr. Crickham.
No meeting, no report.
Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. Maples.
Hi. We did have a meeting, and it was a meeting for a zoning variance for a deck that did not meet the setback requirements. It was denied. A recommendation was made to permit a 5-foot, not to exceed 5 foot by 5 foot area, a deck area to facilitate egress from the house.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Promotion and Tourism, Mr. Barron.
Well, they're working on a new brochure. They're also anticipating the Ryder Cup, and now they're excited about the DNC convention next year, so there's lots for them to work on.
Good. All right. Did I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did. Library Board, Mrs.
Just a
Valdy.
couple of things for the library board. Last week was National Library Week, and the Friends of the Library did a lunch for the staff, which was very nice. I wasn't there because I'm not on staff, but kind of a cool thing is our library has what are, I'm sure you're familiar with, mobile hotspots, and they are available to patrons. You can check them out. It's an ability to use or access the internet for up to 7 days from anywhere, from any location. So it's kind of neat. There are a lot of really innovative ways that the library is just getting people involved, not just books. And they have volunteer appreciation event on Friday, May 10th at Hawks Inn. And that's all we got.
Great, thank you much. Lake Country Fire Commission, no meeting, no report. Lake Country Fire Board, Mr. Crickham.
No meeting, no report. We'll be meeting 7 o'clock next Thursday.
Sounds good. Tree Board, Mr. Grimmer.
No meeting, no report.
And last but not least, your Management Committee, Mr. Dean.
Okay, as you heard from Jim Zahorek earlier, the sharpshooters did complete our contract with them. Actually, they shot 49, not 50 deer, as one of the tags that we had from the DNR was previously used by one of our bow hunters already. So we ended up with a known count of 102 deer taken through both bow and sharpshooters on public and private. I'd like to publicly acknowledge and thank Tom for all his work in working with the sharpshooters and assisting, because that required a lot of phone calls and coordination. So thank you, Tom, and Michelle, thank you for all the work with the website. I think we did very well the first year putting this together and getting that many. Work is already underway for the next season, which would start September the 15th. We're working with Ann Corman over at Lampum Peak and Julia Robson over at Waukesha County Park to see if we can expand in those areas. And we'll be working on more citizen locations to have stands. So starting to already work for the next season.
Great, fantastic work. Looking forward to even a better next year. All right, 5 unfinished business, nothing. Mayor's report. Valdi, are you going to read our Arbor Day?
I am going to read the Arbor Day proclamation, which is, Arbor Day is April 26th, 2019. And here we go. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, provide wildlife habitat, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community, and whereas trees are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, and whereas Delafield has been recognized as Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree accommodating values. Now therefore, our Mayor Kent Atwell, Mayor of the City of Delafield, it says does hereby proclaim April 26, 2019 as Arbor Day. And we urge all citizens to support efforts to care for our trees and woodlands and to support our city's community forestry program. And further urge all citizens to plant trees to promote the well-being of present and future generations. This dated the 15th of April, 2019.
Excellent. Thanks for reading that.
You're welcome.
All right, number 7, new business A, discussion and possible action regarding resolution 2019-05 regarding the city's continued participation in the Wisconsin Public Employee WPE Group Health Insurance Program through the State of Wisconsin Group Insurance Board.
Yeah, this is simply a housekeeping item. The Wisconsin Public Employers Insurance Program, they modified some of their manuals that are referred to in our original agreement with them, and therefore the original agreement is outdated, and this notices the proper documents that should be included.
Move to approve Resolution 2019-05.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. 7B, discussion and possible action to approve resolution 2019-04 declaring intent to levy special assessment related to Gulf Road traffic improvements under municipal code power pursuant to Wisconsin statute 66.0703.
Yes, resolution declaring intent to levy special assessments is the first step in the special assessment process, and this would be for the special assessments that would be levied against the benefited properties from the Gulf Road roundabout construction that was approved by referendum. Included with the resolution is a listing of the properties that would be special assessed, along with a map of those properties. And from here, the city engineer would prepare the engineer's report and the cost estimates and the proposed assessments. And then after that, we would have a public hearing for those people to be assessed, for them to have an opportunity to speak regarding the assessments.
Move to approve Resolution 2019-04.
Second.
Second.
Oh, Mr. Maples beat you to it.
All right.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. 7C, discussion and possible action regarding a request from Mike Kleist, General Manager of Butine Peterson Construction, to use the Tomahawk Trail right-of-way as a temporary location for construction field office, staging area for materials and equipment, employee parking area as they perform the construction of the WDOT Cable Guard project this year along I-94 from South 67 to CSS.
Yes, I received a request from Mr. Kleist regarding the potential use of Tomahawk Trail right-of-way for their temporary storage and office during this construction that's going to be happening this summer. I believe Mr. Kleist is here. Are you Mr. Kleist? So if you have any questions of him, he could answer those, and he is proposing to pay the city $200 a month rent for the use of the site.
I actually have a question for Wayne. Have you heard anything from your constituents that have to use Tomahawk Road to get home?
So Tomahawk Trail is not a road that anybody uses. It's currently blocked off by a cable, and it's an abandoned road that looks like something out of an old movie or something.
When you say temporary, give me a timeline.
The project starts now in April. We won't be doing anything this week, of course, with the weather. but it will be complete by end of August.
Will it cause any other traffic issues on the other roads going by, right past Tomahawk Trail, or?
I don't believe so. Originally, we were interested in parking that field trailer off of, what's the main road there, Tom?
Indian Springs.
We don't have much of a need for that anymore. We found a different location. We would be interested in Tomahawk Trail. Every night, we have to bring our equipment off of the job. We're working in the median, so we'd be looking to park rubber tire equipment. We have a pickup truck and a trailer, a quad axle dump truck and a trailer. Basically a way to get it off the highway, to park overnight and then.
But it won't be moved daily, there won't be noises or dust or any issues to the neighbors? It'll be parked there?
It'll be
during the
parked,
project.
it'll move in the morning and then it'll come back at night, so twice a
You
day.
looked at any other options besides that, or what are your
Yep,
other options?
We have another staging area. We requested the use of the park and rides from DOT, but they explained to us that those would not be available. However, we did get the park and ride farther to the east, near the hospital, is that County Road P. There's a park and ride there, and there's a gravel access road off that park and ride. We're gonna be making use of that for the west half of the project. When we get to the east half of the project, we'd be interested in using the Tomahawk Trail area. But no, it's nothing that's gonna hold us up. We're just looking for spots that are relatively close to the project.
A question for Tom. What's the city's liability if they have their equipment on that property?
So one requirement is that we would require them to include us on their liability insurance coverage and provide us with a certificate of insurance with us named as an additional insured.
Okay, what's the city's liability as far as equipment in the event it got damaged or vandalized?
We would have no liability.
Okay.
I have one question. Go ahead and answer. You're going to.
I would say one thing we would propose also, with the DOT, being a state project, a DOT project, we would treat it as a local roadway, whereas the DOT engineer on the project, I would propose to him, we're gonna use this, and he would come out and log it with me. We would have a log of the existing condition of the roadway, so that if we do, it protects you guys if there is any damage, then the DOT would make us repair that upon leaving. But
That's
I'm
where I was
confident,
going with it.
I'm confident we would do no damage to the roadway, otherwise we wouldn't use it.
Well, my concern is any inconvenience to the neighbors.
Yeah.
Is there any, are you gonna see anything, you see any foreseen?
I don't, it'd be just a matter of driving equipment in, we would pull all the way in, turn around in the cul-de-sac, and we would park overnight, and then the next morning we would leave. So generally we'd be pulling off the highway at anywhere between 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. and we would be heading back out in the morning at anywhere from 6 till 7 a.m.
So you're not looking at doing material storage here at all?
No, we were able to obtain another site for material storage.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question is, I think it's only a little ironic that I just read the Arbor Day proclamation and we're looking at removing trees to park a temporary office.
Yeah, and that part would go away, where the temporary trailer
Yeah.
is shown, that we don't need anymore.
Okay.
We found a new location.
All right, yeah,
It would be just no trees, it would be just parking on the cul-de-sac
okay.
at Tomahawk Trail.
And Jackie, in his original request, this drawing's from his original request, and I identified that area where the tree removal isn't even city property, it's private property. So right now, we're just focusing on the paved area of
Got
Tomahawk
it,
Trail.
okay, thank you.
So you go all the way back to the cul-de-sac with the trailer?
Yep, we would drive to the back of the cul-de-sac and park back there, probably, yeah.
Do you guys use any kind of security cameras or anything like that? Because one concern is it's very hidden back there and be
Yeah.
very potentially prone to vandalism and whatnot.
Right, yeah, and as a construction company, we end up with those incidences. Watertown Plank Trail, I mean, yeah, we had one morning we came in and all the batteries were gone in our equipment, trucks. So that's something we'd have to monitor. We do have mobile cameras with hotspots, sometimes we do set up. We would probably use the area, being it's such a short time, if anything did happen, we'd probably leave that area and go somewhere else. I don't know, it's hard to guard against that. But that would all be on us, of course.
All right. Any other questions, discussions?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes. Thank you very
for
much.
waiting.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mike, I'll be in touch to coordinate.
Bye.
Okay, report of city officials, number 8A, Administrator.
We bounce back to the agenda.
Sign. Oh, you
Okay, just a reminder, we do have the organizational meeting tomorrow evening at 5:30 here in the council chambers. We do need everyone to be here on time because we do have another meeting at 6 o'clock as well, so we got to be out of here by then.
So please be on time.
Always.
I can't be here, so
Okay.
you gotta.
Oh, you're going to be appointed to a bunch of stuff now.
It's the worst meeting to miss.
Gotta be a mess.
All right, second of all, in your packets, we've got our 2020 budget timeline. You'll see it's a timeline that starts much earlier than normal and also has several additional steps than normal. I will be providing updates to the council in June and August, where we will have some discussions about the status of the budget and the appropriateness of using some of the tools that we've talked about that Phil Cosson introduced us to. So we got that to look forward to, but please mark some of those more important dates into your calendars. And then lastly, an update regarding where we're at with the Gale family and negotiations on a manure injection protocol and agreement. We are very close. It's been an interesting negotiation, full of compromise on both sides, but I am fairly confident that we will have an agreement before the council in May for your consideration. And that's the extent of my update for this evening.
Great, thank you. 8B, Clerk.
Discussion and action on the voucher list.
Move to approve the voucher list.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Passes.
And the second item I have is just the election report, things that went well, things we improved on, voter turnout and the absentees. Looking forward to 2020, we do have 4 elections in that particular year. The presidential is in that year too, so those are some of the budget items that are going to be put on this early budget timeline. So we were able to not spend a lot of money this year by not having a February election. So we're going to use some of those funds from this year to try and offset some of the costs for 2020 by purchasing items a little bit early if we can. So does anybody have any questions about the report recap?
It looked pretty challenging with all the different school referendums and the different colors
Yeah.
and everything. I think you guys did a great job. Keep it
Yeah,
up.
very
Thank you.
impressive.
Thank you.
There were 8 different
Ten.
ballot,
10 ballot
different ballot
styles.
versions.
Yeah,
Good work.
thanks.
Thank you. Council request for future agenda items. Anything you'd like on the next agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to correspondence. Again, refer you to the Arbor Day Foundation letter and the letter from the Village of Merton and the Town of Lisbon regarding intermunicipal cooperation plan. Seeing no further business, the meeting is adjourned. Hopefully we'll see you at Revere's.